Hello, I'm Karen Guthrie. I'm the head gardener here at Lawson Park, which is the headquarters of Grisdale Arts, high above Coniston Water in the Lake District. I'm also the tutor of the Farmers Arms Garden School, which starts on Saturday, April the 17th. And I wanted to say a bit about that. Ideally, I'd have shot this in the garden. It's very, very windy and cold outside. So I'm in the polytunnel here at Lawson Park, which is part of the kitchen garden. Nibthwaite Grange Farm, where the school is taking place, is about halfway between Lawson Park and the Farmers Arms pub, which some of you know we are refurbishing and reopening this summer. And the garden school will support that project and hopefully by the end of the summer even produce a little bit of kitchen produce to use there. So I wanted to say a bit about how the school has been devised, which is 8 sessions starting in April and going all the way to November. Instead of doing something more intensive, we're inviting participants to come on the first Saturday of every month to this less than perfect plot at Nibthwaite Grange Farm, which is a very realistic place to learn because it has some of the challenges that you yourself will face if you're trying to start to garden. We'll have slugs, we'll have too much rain, we'll have the odd mouse, we'll have too hot weather and too damp weather. And we'll have too much of certain vegetables we're trying to grow at certain points and not enough of others. And the best way to learn really is to learn alongside people by going back to the same plot over time and seeing the impact of what you have done the month before. So that's why the Farmers Arms Garden School is designed that way. Also, full disclosure, I am not a professionally trained gardener. I have learned across 20 years here at Lawson Park, turning what was basically open fell into now about 4 acres of cultivated garden. It's not been easy, and as you can imagine, I've learned a few chops along the way. And I think the fact that I'm an artist and a filmmaker first and a gardener second is a positive thing when it comes to teaching, because I know what it's like to be busy and not to have quite the right amount of time to do what you need to do in the garden. And that's taught me a huge range of tricks that I want to pass on to you about how to approach gardening, whether it's a terrace, a balcony, a window box, a field, or I don't know, maybe a garden attached to a house that you've just bought you don't really like and you need to transform it. Or maybe a garden that you want to make more manageable or more suitable for children or for older people. These are all things that we're going to discuss at the garden school and hopefully implement some ways to approach right there on that plot. Now, I have here a picture of one of my first garden mentors who gardened here 15 years ago, George Watson. He planted a hedge just behind him in this photograph. There's a hedge which is about 6 inches high and it's now about 4 meters all around this kitchen garden. But that's only one of the things he did. And I think I want to highlight him because I kind of owe the garden to him here, but I also owe the skills that I have now to him because he had managed a local garden single-handedly for his whole working life. He was trying to retire when we met him. We lured him back out of retirement for a few years. But because of the challenges that he had faced and overcome, he just knew every trick in the book about how to manage gardening here. And I worked alongside him 1 or 2 days a week, and of course that's how I learned what he knew, because he always had he was adaptable and he always had a way of tackling things that seemed to be just enormous problems. And I owe a lot to him, and the reason I learned so much from him was because I worked across time with him on this particular plot, and that's what we'll do down at Nibthwaite Grange Farm. So there are 8 sessions. You can enrol for a single session, but I would really recommend that you come and do all 8 sessions. It's the first Saturday of every month. And there's a concession rate too. So enrolment stops on April the 12th. So if you're interested to join, please do get onto the Grisdale website, onto www.grisdale.org/events, and you'll find more information about the course there, and you'll also find a link to enrol and ask any questions that you might have about the school. So I really hope I'll meet some of you there and that we'll be gardening together this summer.